Inventorship is always a touchy subject, especially if you're a patent attorney or a patent agent and you're having to deal with inventors, because especially novice inventors, they usually have a very twisted idea of what inventorship is. So, what is inventorship? You can put yourself down as the inventor in a patent application if you've made a meaningful contribution to the claims of the invention. So, oftentimes, when I get multiple people who say, yeah, we all worked on this together, I'll write out the claims and I'll give each one of them a sheet of paper and a different colored magic marker. And I'll say, you color in the claims that you're responsible for. And I'll try to make sure that there's at least everyone puts themselves down for at least one claim. Again, if any of you are thinking about becoming patent attorneys or patent agents, one thing you're going to have to look out for is first of all, the inventor who wants to put down a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other, whatever, as a co-inventor just to make them happy. The other one is you'll run into people, inventors who don't have much money, and they want to bring in an investor, and the investor will say, well, I'll lend you the money, but you got to put me down on the patent application. And both of those situations, the patent can later be invalidated because inventorship was misstated. And you have to sign a declaration. And in the declaration, you sign under penalty of perjury, which could include 6 months of jail time, that you are indeed the first and true inventor of this invention. So you can't just grab somebody else's idea or put somebody else on the patent application who had nothing to do with it. And so oftentimes that's one of the more frustrating things. Now, if you get hit up with an investor who says, well, I'm not going to lend any money to your inventor unless I'm on the patent application, what you can do is you can say, okay, well, here's the invention, add something to it, add something significant to it. And again, if we can rewrite some of the claims to include your portion, your contributions, then we can put you down. But a much more reasonable way of doing this is to do an assignment or a licensing agreement by which the investor says, yeah, inventor's the inventor, but the inventor is going to either sell me the patent for X or license me the patent for X. And that's a much clearer way of doing that. I know that when one of my clients gets challenged with a patent infringement lawsuit, the first thing I look for is I look at who the inventor is, and if it's a company where the owner's got a high school education, but there are 6 PhDs working on the website, and none of the PhDs are listed, and the owner's listed, I think, okay, I smell fish here, and the fish has been dead a few days, so I think that we're going to throw back a challenge on inventorship. So you probably want to avoid that, especially because it's very, very easy. Just put down the people who truly contributed a significant contribution to the claims and can find themselves in at least one of the claims. Okay, let's go over prior art searches a little bit. Now, for design patents, I usually recommend against prior art searches because the threshold for getting a design patent is so low that you can pretty much file, if all these wheels are different enough for you to get design patents on them, the threshold for allowing a design patent is not huge. So I usually don't recommend prior art searches for design patents. For utility patents, on the other hand, there are two basic approaches. The first approach is you don't do a prior art search, so you don't know what's out there. You prepare and file the patent application, and you let the examiner do all the prior art searching work. This is an approach that's used by a lot of the larger law firms. I don't like to use this approach because, first of all, the cost of a prior art search is about 1/10 of what I charge for a utility patent application. So wouldn't it be better to spend $800 finding out if you've actually got a chance to get a utility patent before you spend $8,000 to $12,000 on the actual application? I think so. The other thing is that if I have the results of a prior art search in front of me when I write the patent application, I can do a better job of trying to tweak the claims and the verbiage of the patent application to try to get around the prior art. So if I know some other patents that are out there, I can put them in the specification and I can discuss why my inventor's invention is so much better than all of the prior art, and then I can tweak the claims to avoid the prior art. If you don't do that, then a lot of times your patent application will run straight into the prior art, and you'll waste the first office action and your client's money and just responding to stuff that you might have known about for an $800 prior art search. Now, there are a ton of prior art searching companies out there. I've been using Immunis IP for 10 years now, and I really like them. They've always done good work. They also do patent illustrations, so I can get kind of a 2-for-1, because we do the prior art search and we decide to go ahead. Then I just say, okay, great, send pictures of your invention to Immunis, and they'll whip out the drawings as well. So anyway, what I would avoid, especially if you're ever thinking about becoming a patent agent or patent attorney, is avoid the prior art search companies that are really shells for invention promotion companies. And these places will say, well, we'll do the prior art search. You just read their proposals. They'll say, we'll do the prior art search, and we'll do the drawings for the patent application, and we'll promote you at a booth, and we'll negotiate any licensing deals for you. Well, okay, why? I understand doing the prior art search, but why are you also selling them the drawings when the whole purpose of the prior art search is to figure out whether you want to do the application at all? And for most of these invention promotion companies, they're trying to sell the invention. They take one table at some cheap invention show, and they throw 50 items out there. And they usually have some bored high school person playing on their cell phone behind the counter. So they really don't put very much effort into it. But anyway, if you're going to get into this business at all, I would like you to look at some of the prior art search companies out there, figure out the prices, and try to get an idea of which ones might be worth going with.